students, welcome back to statistics class. We are discussing second chapter, that is organization of data, and we reach to the last topic, that is sampling. Now very small topic is remaining, sampling, and some other concepts are there. With that we can wind up with the second chapter. So we'll see what is sampling. In the previous session we discussed about the methods, which are the various methods of collection of data. We may go for a census enumeration method or sample survey method, and we have also seen that what are the difference between census enumeration and sample survey. Sample survey is nothing but where we conduct the survey based on only the sample which we select. So when we select sample, how we need to select sample? For example, I have told that it is a group of 100 students. I need 10 people for my survey. How I need to select? On what basis? Is there any method to select that 10 people? Yes, there are some method to select that some people under sampling. Now, what is sampling? Sampling is nothing but selecting or extracting or choosing sample from the population. It is nothing but it is the process of selecting, or you can use the word choosing, or you can use the word extracting. Selecting the samples from the population. So that process we call it as sampling. It is a one more question. What do you mean by sampling? So sampling is the process of selecting samples from the population. As I said, population is 100 students and I am selecting 10 students. That is the sampling. That is meant by sampling. That process is meant by sampling. Now, which are the methods of sampling? There are some methods of selecting that sample. So methods of sampling. So there are three methods mainly. Their first one comes simple random sampling. Simple random sampling. Then second method, that is systematic sampling. Then third method, that is stratified sampling. So which are the methods of sampling, or mention the methods of sampling? It is a 2-mark question. So which are the methods of sampling? Simple random sampling and systematic sampling and stratified sampling. So these three methods we need to follow while choosing samples from the population. While selecting samples from the population, we have to follow either this or this method. Now we have to see what are these methods, how we are going to select in this different method. So we'll see the first one, simple random sampling. The first method, that is simple random sampling. What is that simple random sampling? Here, in simple random sampling, the each and every unit of the population have an equal chance of being getting selected as sample. Here, each and every units of the population. For example, as I said, 100 students. Here, all the 100 students are having equal chance. All that 100 students are having equal chance as getting selected as sample. Anyone may get that chance of selected as a sample. So this is the simple random sampling. It is a method where each and every unit of the population means if 100 students are our population, means In that 100, each and every unit of the population have an equal chance of being getting selected as a sample. So what is this? For example, we can give a lottery method. Here we can give the example of lottery method. Here you can give the example of lottery method. What is that lottery method? For example, as I said, 100 students are there. So 100 students means what do? We write their names. We select 100 chicks, small chicks we select, and we write that 100 students name, or we number it to 1 to 100. No, it is better to write the name of the students. 100 students we write in that paper, and we fold that chist and we put it in a particular basket or drum. We put it in that and we'll mix it properly and we choose. We take the slips. How many slips we need to take? Out of 100 students. Now our population is 100. Population is 100. And how many students we require for our survey in order to collect information? I require 10 students. The sample is, I require how many samples? 10. Out of 100, I require 10 students. What we have done now? We have written the student's name in a slip and we have folded it and we have put it in a one basket. Now I have to select one. How many chits I have to take? Randomly I have to take the chits without applying anything, any methods or technique. Randomly I have to choose 10 chits from that. Randomly one after the other. I have to choose 10 slips. So in that 10 slips which I have chosen, which names will appear in that chits? Those 10 students are my samples. Those 10 students are my samples. This we call it as simple random sampling. Randomly I will pick by using a method of what we call that method is a lottery method. Example, lottery method. Lottery method is what method just now I have explained. We write the names or we may write the name. How they are sitting according to that 1, 2, 3. We may write the numbers also. We will put it in a, we write it in a chit and we will put it. And we randomly select the chits. That method is called lottery method. So through that I will select 10 people randomly. Randomly I will choose 10 people. So that method we call it as simple random sampling. Where here see, while choosing that 10 slip, all 100 students have an equal chance. Any name may come in that slip. Anyone's name may, I can get any names there. So those 100 students are having equal chance. Until they get their name, they have equal chance. But only 10 names will come there or will appear. I will choose only 10 slips there. So that method we call it as simple random sampling. I hope you are clear with simple random sampling. Then we go to the second method, that is systematic sampling. I'll erase this. Second one, that is systematic sampling. Now, what we need to do out of this systematic sampling? What is its method? See, here we can follow one systematic way of selecting the sample. Here we follow one systematic way of selecting the sample. Initially, what do? Initially, the what population we have, we divide. We divide in the sense, we will either be divided based on alphabetically or numerically or geographically. We divide the population. It might be alphabetically, or it might be geographically, or it might be numerical. We may number them 1 to 1000. For example, now my population. Here we consider population as denoted by the capital N. We have population here 1000. I have 1000 people in front of me. Out of that 1000 people, I have to select now sample number. The sample number we denote as N. Sample number we denote as small n, that is 100. Now, what is the small n? 1000 is my population. 1000 people are there. Out of that 1000 people, I require 100 people. I require 100 people for my survey. I have to collect information from this 100. I cannot go to 1000 people, each and every one I cannot go to them. So what I will go with the sample method. In that sample method, I follow the method of systematic sampling. I will not go with this. I cannot select 100 list. I am not going for random sampling. I will go for a systematic sampling. I have to select their 100 people. How I have to select and what gap, what interval I have to give them. For example, I will give 1000 people are there. For 1000 people, we numbered them. How we numbered them? We numbered them from 1, 2, 3, then here it continues till 1000. So 1000 people are there. We number them as 1000. Now, which number I have to select? What gap I should give them? So there is one method. Now, what gap? Now I have to find their interval, sample interval. I have to find out the sample interval. Here we denote it as sample interval is nothing but we denote it as k. Sample interval is we denote it as k. Now what I will do here? K is equal to this n divided by population divided by sample number. I will get their sample interval. Now, how many population? I have 1000 people with me, and I have how many people I have to select as a sample? 100 people. What I will get? I will get sample interval as 10. Sample interval as 10. Now see, we got sample interval. What is that interval? Now there 1 to 1000 are there. I have to select how many people? 100 people. What gap I should provide? After selecting first one, I should give the gap of 10. Now, first how I have to select the first sample? First sample I have to select randomly. First sample I have to select randomly. For example, the 8 is my favorite number. I will select the first sample as the number 8. Here number 8 is there. I will select first sample as number 8. Now, after selecting first sample randomly, the 8th person I will select as first sample out of 100. Now remaining 99, how I have to select? What gap I should give? I should give the gap of 10. Then what number will come? The next sample, what number I have to choose? Next sample I have to choose as 18. The gap we need to give there 10. We got there by using this formula. We got the gap as 10. The what is now? Now remaining the 100 out of 100. Two samples I have selected. 8th number and 18th number. Now remaining 98 I have to choose. Next again 10 gap I have to give. Next number I have to choose 28. The other number 38. Next 48, 58. So I have to give the gap of 10, and like this I have to select, it should be 100. 100 sample I have to select 58, 68, 78, then 88, 98, 108, 118. So till where? Till 100. My sample should be 100. I have to choose 100 people by giving a interval or the gap of 10. By giving the gap of 10, I have to choose here 100 people. The first one I will select randomly. First one I will select randomly. The next remaining I will go with the sample interval which we got based on this formula. So this method we call it as systematic sample. This method we call it as systematic sample. I hope you are clear. Then the last one is remaining, that is stratified sampling. The third one it is third sampling method, that is stratified What is that stratified sampling? When we use this stratified sampling, we use when our population is in a heterogeneous nature, where we do not have the same kind of population. We use the method of stratified sampling. What do? Initially population. We divide the population into a small group. That group we call it as strata. We divided the whole population into a small subgroups. That small subgroups we call it as a strata. It is a one mark question. What do you mean by strata? Strata is a subgroup, homogeneous subgroup. If you write strata is a homogeneous subgroup. Why we divide the population into a strata? Strata is a homogeneous subgroup. As I said, our population is in a heterogeneous nature. Heterogeneous nature means we have different kinds of population. We cannot select sample. We need to have a same kind of population in order to select sample. So we divide that whole group into a homogeneous subgroup. That homogeneous subgroup we call it as a strata. For example, from this strata we randomly select how many sample we require. For example, I give one particular classroom is there. Classroom in the sense usually we get this kind of classroom where that class it has the students of, now boys are there, then girls are there. It's a commerce classroom. We take here only in Shantavidya. Boys, in case of boys, their day boarding boys are there, then hostel boys. Here day boarding girls and hostel girls are there. So this is not a homogeneous data. That classroom, the students, which students we have in front of us, they are not the homogeneous data. Homogeneous data means, see, they are not, all are not the day boarders. All are not girls. If it is a only girls classroom, all day boarding girls classroom, similar kind of data, same data, but it is not so. It's a group of boys and girls. There are boys are there, girls are there. It is different nature. And day boarding boys, hostel boys. Day boarding girls, hostel girls. We cannot apply the same methods or we cannot apply same rules for all the students. There are different set of rules are there for hostel boys, hostel girls, then day boarding boys different, day boarding girls different. So it is a heterogeneous nature. So what I have to do firstly, if I got that particular class for any of the survey, if I have chosen means I have heterogeneous nature of data. Different kinds of units I have or individuals. So initially I have to divide that class into different groups. Which groups? How I have to make the groups? The same way I have to make the groups. One is the group of day boarding boys, one is a group of hostel boys, one more is a group of day boarding girls, and one more is the group of hostel girls. So there are now 4 groups. And these 4 groups also, if we take this one group, it's a homogeneous group. Only hostel girls. It's a homogeneous, similar kind of unit. It's a only day boarding girls. It's a similar kind of group. That homogeneous subgroups, after dividing what group I will get, that homogeneous subgroups are called strata. When I have heterogeneous population in front of us, I divide it into a subgroups. That subgroups are homogeneous subgroups. That similar kind of units will be there in that particular group. That group I will call it as strata. So here how many groups I have got? Here I have got 4 groups. Now I have to choose from which group I require sample. From which group I require sample. So from that group randomly I have to choose any people. I may require 10 people from hostel girls, the group of hostel girls. I am doing some research or survey based on the girls who are staying in hostel. What is their mental stability will be there, what kind of emotions they are dealing with. So about that I am conducting some survey. So I require from that class only hostel girls. So firstly, after entering into that class, I will divide that class into 4 subgroups. That subgroups contains the same kind of data. From that subgroups I will choose the samples. Any one of the subgroups or any other based on my survey, I will choose the data. So this is the stratified sampling. So we come across the Sampling is the method or it's a process of selecting sample from the population, and we follow the three methods. That is, first one is simple random sampling, where all the units have equal chance of being getting selected. We have given the example of lottery method. We randomly select from that method. Then systematic sampling, where we follow some formulas, and initially we divide it into based on numbers or based on geographical location or alphabetical order. Then we apply some formula there, then according to that we select. Now here stratified sampling we use when we contain the heterogeneous nature of population. When different kinds of population we have, we divide it into subgroups of homogeneous, then we select the sample from that particular subgroup. So this is about sampling. Now one small concept is remaining. We'll see what is that. Now we come to the end of this particular chapter. There is one small topic is remaining, that is statistical errors. Now we have seen in while studying census enumeration and sample survey, there is no sample errors. Here we get sample errors, such kind of. Now what is that sample error? Which kind of errors we get in case of sampling while selecting samples or after selecting samples? What is that sample error or statistical error? We call it as sample error. It is mainly the error, it is the difference between, the sample error means it is the difference between actual value and the estimated value. Actual value and the estimated value. We'll be having in our mind what value we need to get at the end, actual value. This is the value. For example, 100. But while calculating, we get there 150. What is the difference? 50. So this is the error. Actual value minus 50. Here we get minus 50. So it is the difference between actual value and the estimated value. What difference we get? That we call it as statistical error. And what are the causes in order to get that errors? So first one, errors of origin. What is that errors of origin? Errors of origin means we might define it wrongly. We might have defined the samples wrongly, and while selecting the samples, we might have selected defective samples. That it might be the defective samples are not proper, the defective samples, then or else the questionnaire which we prepared, that is not proper, the improper questionnaire, that can be the errors of origin, or the wrong method of selection, the method which we use to select in case of sampling, the systematic sampling. Where we need to use systematic sampling, we might have used their simple random sampling. So the use of wrong method or improper questionnaire, or it might be the defective samples. So due to that, what error we get? That is errors of origin. So we get errors of origin because of it might be the wrong sample or the defective sample or improper questionnaire, or the method which we use, it is not the adequate method. So that is errors of origin, one cause. Errors of inadequacy. What is that inadequacy? Inadequacy means the insufficient or inadequate data. We require some amount of information or data, but what information we collected, it is insufficient, it is not sufficient in order to conduct that survey. So whichever survey we conduct based on the insufficient data, we don't have sufficient data with us, so that due to that what error will come? That is due to errors of inadequacy, errors of insufficient data. Then errors of manipulation. Manipulation means this error we get due to the clerical mistake. While doing clerical work, if we do any kind of mistakes, it might be knowingly or unknowingly. What kind of mistake occurs in case of clerical work? that we call it as errors of manipulation. So due to these three causes we get their statistical error. Due to these three causes we get their statistical errors. The causes are defective samples, improper questionnaire or wrong method, or we don't have sufficient data with us in order to continue this survey. Then manipulation, the clerical error we may commit while doing some of the clerical work. So this is about the causes for the statistical errors. Now we have seen the causes. Now which are the different kinds of errors? There we can see, if you are going through the types of errors, there we can see two types of errors, that is biased error and unbiased error. What is that biased error? Biased error, as I said, the person who conducts the statistical inquiry is the investigator. The investigator is the person who conducts statistical inquiry. Now, biased error is the error which occurs with the notice of the investigator. Biased, he will be biased there. It occurs with the notice of the investigator, means he will be knowing that these people or this in this department or in this work there are some errors or they are committing mistakes, but it happens with the notice of the investigator. If any errors which occurs with the notice of the investigator, that error we call it as biased error, and this biased error can be controlled. It can be controlled because it occurs with the notice of the investigator. He will be knowing it, this mistakes is going on. So this can be controlled. This is a controllable error. Now unbiased error. What is that unbiased error? Without the notice of the investigator, some errors occurs which occurs without the notice of the investigator or without the presence of the investigator. That error we call it as unbiased error, which we cannot control. Why we cannot control? Because it occurs without the notice of the investigator. He will not be present there. But here it in his presence means it occurs with his notice. He will be knowing, so he can control. So this is the controllable error. This is uncontrollable error. That is biased and unbiased error. Biased error is a such error which occurs with the notice of the investigator, and this is the error without the notice of the investigator. Now we know that these are the error. Now in this error, how to calculate this error? So there are two methods in order to measure the measurement of errors, that is absolute error and relative error. Absolute error is nothing but how to calculate absolute error. Absolute error we need to calculate there is equal to actual value minus estimated value. Actual value minus estimated value. If we deduct estimated value from the actual value, we get their absolute error. And the relative error. Relative error is nothing but we present the absolute error in the form of percentage. Whatever value, whatever answer we get in case of absolute error, this absolute error we present in the form of percentage, that we call it as relative error. Here it is just 2 mark question, which are the measurement of errors. You have to just mention the absolute error and relative error. And here 2 marks question, types of errors, that is biased error and unbiased error. Very rarely you will get question like what do you mean by biased error, or you can get which are the 1 mark question you can get which error we can control, which error, biased error. Such kind of 1 marks question you can get. And what are the causes of statistical error? What do you mean by statistical error? It is the difference between actual error and the actual value and the estimated value. Which are the causes? Causes are causes of origin, errors of origin, errors of inadequacy and errors of manipulation. Here these are 2 and 1 mark question, not more than that. So with this we can end with the second chapter called organization of data. Now in the next session we'll move towards the third session, that is time series data. In the In the next chapter, in the next session, we'll move to the third chapter. So with this, we can wind up with today's session.